especially you.
Hello, and welcome to the Enlightened Humanity Circle Spiritual Rave, where we are gifting you with some immense resources to help you access more of your own information. My name is Bonnie Sachs, and I'm here with Lily Winsaft.
Hi, everybody. We're so excited to be here with you.
Together, Lily and I created the Eighth Chakra Company, which has the express purpose of teaching you how to master your own information. And today, we are so excited to have a very dear friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine, named Valerie Marion. Hi, Valerie.
Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Lily. Hi, all our friends and fans.
And we have Valerie here today because she is a health mentor, and I call her my personal food goddess. So we are excited to have you here. And if we could just go ahead and jump right in, what I'd like to do is have you tell us a little bit about how you got to be so interested in food and becoming a health mentor. What's the juicy side of the story?
Ooh, the juicy side of the story. I feel like a little bit like I'm on Hollywood Squares when I'm on a Zoom because all of the little boxes on the screen, which is so fun. Modern technology is amazing. First of all, let me thank you ladies for first setting up this rave so that all the people who are going to be attending can get some great information. And for thinking of me, I do believe nutrition is really key to heightening our own awareness and finding our own power. So the juicy side of my story, like probably many of you, come to a fork in the road. Huh? Did you notice that pun? Yeah, a fork in the road where life happens and we can either take a left or a right. Left is can bury your head in the sand and do nothing, which is an option. And then right is do something. And about 20-something years or so ago, my family was in a critical health situation. It seemed like every other phone call we were getting was, oh my gosh, this person is sick or that person is whatever. And I think there was probably a little while I just kind of let the phone ring. That was when we had house phones. It wasn't a cell phone. So you could let it ring and this great little thing called an answer machine picked it up. Anyway, all of this was happening on my husband's side of the family. And my husband at the time, we were married 32 years at the time. He was not working out a ton, not paying particular attention to his health, and working a zillion hours trying to provide his career, get the career going that he wanted to go. I do have permission to talk about all this, by the way. So he was sort of, typical guy on that sad diet, just undernourished and overworked and stressed. So when all of this was going on in his family, I could sort of see the stop sign coming up ahead of us. And I thought, let me think about that. I've never really thought about nutrition before. Really, it never even crossed my mind. I have a degree in fashion merchandising, so it was a complete different plate for me. And I began to research. And interestingly enough, the internet had just started to come around, and I was able to research at home when my babies were sleeping, which was such an advantage. I'm kind of dating myself now, aren't I? I've talked about a house phone and before internet, geez. But what I found out was through food changes, some modifications in diet, we can really prevent so much of the disease model that's out there. And when it comes to preventing disease model, I also think that really provides us an opportunity to heighten our awareness and to access our best information, because when we feel better, we think better. So I really came to this place as food goddess. Thank you for that. I love that. I came to this place out of necessity, and I think that's where most of us find ourselves. When we can't find the answer, we sort of put it out there to the universe. What information do I need? And give me access to it. And that's where I was. So it's no like amazing earth-shattering thing. I'm not so, I listened. I paid attention to the universe, and it gave me what I needed.
I love that. And I'm sure that I came in somewhere after that piece, because since I've known you, you've been really smart, new information about food to eat, and when the kids were sick, things to do. And so can you add a little bit to that of how you really started connecting with what your kids needed as they were growing, and how you shifted and changed to accommodate those things?
That's a great question, Bonnie. Thank you. And you did. You kind of came in right there when I was like probably that person most people wanted to avoid, and you didn't. You like stuck right next to me, which is awesome, because I was like a holy roller a little bit with nutrition, because I found this new information and like of course wanted to share it with everybody. I'm super passionate about many things, but this one thing in particular, I need to be able to use it on myself and on my family before I go out there in the world and share it. And interestingly enough, I don't know if anyone has ever found this, but when you get that new thing, sometimes your family is the very last people who want to actually hear it. So, which made me like dig in a little bit harder, because I just wanted to get better and more authentic about it. And then what I found is that I really just needed to practice it myself on me and just walk my own walk, so that other people would sort of walk next to me. And Bonnie, you did that too. And I'm so grateful for that, because we sure did a lot of parenting for our kids together. And we were trying to keep our kids on balance beams and swing around the bars and stuff like that. So it was really important that they ate well, because balance, as we found in gymnastics, is everything. Sort of sorely initiated my newfound passion in my own four walls, and practiced on my husband, who was the most, well, I would love to say he was the most excited, but he was the least excited person ever. And on my kids, on our three kids who are now in their mid to late 20s, and who really still continue to practice good health habits and go back to good health habits whenever they get a little off straight. So I'll talk a little bit about my tips, what I used in my family as we go through that. And Bonnie, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, absolutely. I do love the part about the reluctant spouse or the reluctant child. And I think that would be really helpful if you would talk for just a minute or two about how do you deal with the reluctant child or the reluctant spouse?
Oh gosh, you kind of need you wish you had a globe for like looking inside somebody's brain and how they equip and want more of. And obviously it's a lot harder when they're 5, but when their reluctance shows up, like they can't focus, or they're having big mood swings and they end up breaking down into tears because they've had sugar all day long and they have no more energy and they're equipped. Eventually they know, like their knowing is so much more close to the ground than ours is when we get to be tall. So eventually they know it. And if I just kept planting the seed. The other thing is, I decided to be a parent. And so I provided in my house what I believe to be healthy for my children. And I knew that I had the authority to do that because I was gifted those kids. So I really, became a parent when it came to that. We didn't load the house with sugar and sodas and junk foods. I didn't take the easy way out. I made it a little bit more complicated on myself. Too, like many of you working parents, it's not always easy to get the right food on the table. Sometimes it's easy to take the easy way, and I'm the first to admit that I did that too. But most of the time, I did parent. So I put on the table a round, balanced meal, and I just planned a little further in advance. And as far as my husband goes, I think that's the hardest part of all, because I find difficult to get somebody to change unless you allow them the opportunity to change. And so it's really an energetic thing that happens between partners is allowing it to happen. And like I mentioned before, I had to walk the walk first and consistently. And he saw how I was doing it and that I wasn't going to change. And I really think that's what crossed him over to the good side. He was a good little Jedi. Yeah, so it was just staying consistent and then parenting. I think that wraps that up.
Yeah, I really like that. That's a great way of looking at it. I also love the piece that you said about your kids probably had more access to their knowing. And so you had an opportunity to see that. One of the things that we're talking about in this series is about how we can help people access more of their own information. So I'd love to hear you give your perspective on what that means to you, but also how you teach people to have more knowing and more awareness.
Thank you. And that's really all that this is all about, really, is connecting with our own power and becoming more aware so that we can step into our own space. That's such an overused, cliched thing, but really that's true. It's just stepping into your own power. I believe that each one of us is created uniquely. And I know for sure that I beat out all the other possibilities when my mom and dad decided to get together. So I know that I was already born a winner, and that awareness is really the first step in teaching my clients, myself too, how to get there. Just remembering that I was born for a purpose, and then I use food as the vehicle to teach that, because it's really, really visual to see what's on the plate and become more aware of that. And I believe when we can become more aware of something so tangible like food, something we do every day, it's really easy to get in a good habit for that. So awareness, first of all, I'm going to do I think it's got an acronym when you do the letters. My letters are going to be, for those note takers, is access, because that's what you guys wanted. So ACCESS, hope I'm spelling that properly. So
Yeah.
Awareness is the first point. Just becoming more aware of the fact that you were created for greatness. And that, and if you believe this is true, and if you believe that we are what we eat and we are what we digest, then those two really kind of 1 + 1 equals accessing your information. Because if you're born for greatness and you put great things into your body, then the natural conclusion to that is a heightened awareness and accessing that for yourself. And that way you're not putting yourself into some box of like, oh, I'm a vegan, or I'm a paleo, or I'm a this, or I'm a that. Who cares about boxes? You connect with your ancestry and know how your family used to eat. That's really going to get you closer to accessing your best information. And it's already there. And probably, like most of us, it's just maybe a little clogged by, what you've been eating. So step number 2 is the first C. C is what I teach my clients is to eat close to how it was originally created. So if you can catch it or pick it from the ground, if you can get it from a local farmer, or if you can get it frozen, you're probably getting something that's closer to source. So that's really point number 2, is get it close to how it was originally created. Point number 3, the next C, is color. I love to teach my clients how to add color to their diet. I think one of the things I hear over and over again is, God, I don't have any energy, or my thoughts are a little congested, or I can't get to figure out which pile to start with when I'm working. So here's the really huge, 9-cent tip, is try and focus on eating the colors. If you remember from when you were a little kid, the acronym is Roy G. Biv: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And no, can you get it in at every meal? Absolutely not, nor is that essential. But just remember here, all of those colors are a reaction between it, whatever it is, and the sun. And that color is the antioxidant that can really help you access more energy. So, for example, red has lycopene, and orange has carotene. Well, all those other little guys have it too. So I love to just know that in my grocery cart, I'm always trying to shop for all those colors, like eggplant and onions and mushrooms and carrots, and just play with color. In fact, oh, you know what? And I didn't think of it till just this minute. Hold on and see if I can find it super fast. I just did this fun little exercise. I printed out one of these, and every time I ate the color, I colored. And it was so much fun just to have like a tiny little visual to see how much color I did really eat and how long it took me to fill it in. I don't know, find some fun game and play it, because that's really what food's all about anyway. Okay, so point number 4 is examine, the E. So examine which foods work best for your body. And like I mentioned before, really stay away from, or try and stay away from, getting yourself in that box, because that locks your energy in to something that maybe it wasn't designed for you. So how I do that with my clients is everyone goes on a 30-day clean eating challenge, and we intentionally get clear on what we get rid of and what we add in. I always focus on what we add in first, because no one wants to hear what you can't eat. And then I always say, don't say I can't eat that. Just say, hey, I'm just choosing not to eat that right now. I can have whatever I want. just choosing not to eat that right now. So that's examine. So we've done awareness, close to how it was originally created, eating the color, and examine which foods work best for your body. Next, and I believe this is important, is to satisfy your cravings. I hear it so often. Oh my God, I have such cravings for chocolate. Eat it. It's not going to kill you. It's chocolate. It's not like it's going to come out like scissors or something. It's just chocolate. Okay, so eat a little bit higher quality when you can. Maybe a dairy-free one. Maybe you get it from the health food store. Maybe you go to the green market on the weekend, whatever, and pick up some little chocolate. Dark is great, and frankly, dark is great with red wine. I think those are two of God's greatest gifts to us, aren't they? So yeah, satisfy your cravings. Keep it super simple. So S is super important. There's that fun thing called yin yang, and if you're craving something, your body is giving you information. All you're trying to do is access it. So listen, if you're having, a rough period or both period, like a period of time and the other kind of period, or if you're under a tremendous amount of stress, your body's going to say, give me comfort, give me soft, give me something gentle and sweet. Respond. Let it have what it's asking you for. Now, the tip with that is pay attention to why. And if you're going to have something that maybe isn't serving you the best, like I wouldn't recommend eating a whole chocolate bar, just take a small handful, put it in your hand, go away from where the source is, and enjoy eating it, enjoy what it was for. And the last S is stay away from the chemical, artificial, processed foods. If your thoughts are junky, this is really one of the first places to start. Just clean up the stuff that's got all kinds of junk in it. It's designed to allow you to think junky, those foods. So if you're really trying to access your best and highest information, it's already there. Get rid of the stuff that's just processed, because otherwise you're just going to become another processed thinker, and we don't need any more of those. What we do need are more people who are accessing their information from source. So better information, and just get away from that chemical, artificialized stuff. So like everything in a box or a can, pretty much just give it to Food for Families and let them deal with their information when they're ready. You are ready, so just give it away. Just handle it. So awareness, close to how it was originally created, color, examine what foods work best for your body, satisfy your cravings, and stay away from the junky food. That's about it.
That is totally awesome. And I love that you included chocolate and red wine, because it absolutely does need to be in its own little category, for sure.
Yes, so. Yes. Lily's smiling too, so I know she's in agreement.
Yeah, well, one thing that everything about food and nutrition, and I've always, since my teenage years, I've always loved the study of food and nutrition, but giving that acronym access really takes care of one of the problems that most people have, which is that it's so complicated. It seems so hard and so complicated to eat right. And so you've given us a really great way to think about it in simple terms, and at the same time use our intuition, because then we get to say what the color is and what to stay away from and all of that. So I just love that, Valerie. I absolutely love it. You've given it a really good twist on being intuitive and at the same time having some knowledge behind that. So thank you. I loved it.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. We have the power to do it, and it's intuitive. And I heard one guy tell us to get rid of all our recipe books and all of our diet books. Like, the information is already in here. It's in here, and it's from source. So we don't need all that stuff. Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome. I love that piece. So how about some of those golden nuggets? Now, I've had the pleasure of getting tons of golden nuggets from you over the years. And so I'm really curious to see how you're going to sort through them all to find some that are going to be the best for the people who are going to be listening to us.
Okay, so how long do I have to give golden nuggets? 4 years, 2 days?
Go ahead.
So Lily, like you said, I think keeping it simple is such an important part of moving through the process of food. So a couple of fun little tips, and I think this first one always is such a shocker. I work with my clients for about either 3 or 6 months. And the first thing that I always ask everyone to do is to tell me how much water they drink. And I've gotten responses from basically enough to brush my teeth to I'm drowning myself in water. And I think both probably are extremes. But I had one client who came to me and he had all kinds of trouble. He was having trouble with bowel movements and back pain, and his feet were sore and itchy at nighttime, and his hair was like falling out and his skin was dry. I'm like, talk to me about water. He goes, well, I drink some when I brush my teeth. I take my vitamins, and then sometime during the day, maybe I have a little bit. I'm like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to intentionally drink 4 glasses of water a day. Okay, so I know that's not enough. And he's like, oh, I'm supposed to be drinking 8 ounces. I'm like, well, you're not even drinking 1. So let's just start with 4. And within a week, we just increased it a couple days at 4 glasses. Like Wednesday, we went up to 6 glasses. By the end of the week, we were at 8 glasses. And by the end of that week, every single symptom he had was gone. So water is really a choice golden nugget. It's easy and so it's kind of free. Like, I'm not a big fan of bottled water. I love to teach my clients to get a filter of some sort, put it on their house, and get rid of plastic, which would probably be point number B. Get rid of the plastic stuff in your life. Here's another like fake and processed thing. I love to use glass when I store foods. I use glass when I drink water. And and for Lent, I gave up 30 days of 0 plastic. I can tell you, when you give up something for 30 days and you stay intentional on it, you realize where in the heck plastic lives. It lives everywhere. So yeah, so the first big nugget is just to drink enough water so that your mouth feels hydrated, so that your tongue doesn't stick to the top of your mouth, so that your mind is clear. We do know for sure that energy travels much more effectively through a hydrated body. So if you want to get your thoughts through your brain, you need more hydration. If you want to get the thoughts from your brain into the rest of your body, you definitely need more hydration. So I think that's my choicest golden nugget. The second would be get rid of plastic. And then here's my third tip. Have fun with this whole process. Like, we really remember to do fun things every day. Like, learn how to laugh, hang out with your girlfriends or your spouse or your sugar or your significant other. Go play with your dog. Go do something you haven't done in 20 years that makes you like a little nervous or giddy. Just have fun. And Bonnie, you've known me so long. Like, those chords, one of those strong chords is fun in my DNA. So have fun with it. Whatever it is that you're trying to transform in your life, if it becomes too hard or too by rote, or you have to or you need to, let me just tell you, you don't have enough willpower for that. And that's not what Source wants. There's nowhere in the Bible or any other word that says you must be serious. So really, have fun. Have fun with every transformation that you want to make. And when you're laughing and having a good time, you truly access higher source. Because I don't know about you, but if I were Source and you were my friend and you were cranky, I would be much happier giving you information. If you were happy, did I say that right? If I was Source and you were my friend and I wanted to give you information, I would be much more happy giving it to you if you were having fun and you were laughing than if you're sitting there. So have fun. Enjoy the whole process of becoming your most authentic self and accessing your information. You'll get so much more stuff. And if you don't get it, you're at least going to have fun while you wait. So why not try just to add a little bit more fun to your life? So drink a little more water, get rid of the junk plastic, and have more fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just so resonate with everything that you're saying, Valerie. It totally resonates with me. You know, one of the things that is present for me right now is how there's so much information out there about, oh, the best diet is if you eat every 3 hours, and then some diets are you should do intermittent fasting, and then there's experts that say you should eat a heavy meal in the morning and a light meal in the afternoon, and 1 year coffee is good, 1 year coffee is not good, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's just so many fads and so much different opinion. What would you say to our audience on how to deal with all of that? How to deal with just the large amount of information that's out there whenever we go try to Google, how do I lose 10 pounds, or how do I detox, or what kind of juices should I do? What would you say to our audience about that?
That's a super great question, Lily. Awesome. And you're so right. There's just a plethora of information. I think I read yesterday, I think the number was like $62 billion is spent in this industry trying to access information. And so I think I would say get rid of all of it, stop Googling, stop looking, and listen to what your body tells you to do. I think sometimes it's just helpful too, maybe to journal a little bit for a couple days. Like, when I eat a lot of vegetables, I feel like this. When I drink enough water, I feel like this. When I eat red meat, I feel like this. And so you then begin to figure out for yourself what your best body is. And this is how I coach my clients. We do the 30-day clean eating challenge. We get rid of coffee, sugar, alcohol, dairy, and gluten. So those, maybe you have an issue with them and maybe you don't have an issue with them. Doesn't matter. We just get rid of all 5 of them because we don't know. And then at the end of the 30 days, we add them back in one at a time and see how they play in the body. If you get clogged and foggy thinking or circles under the eyes like I do when I eat too much salt, then you know maybe that's not your best food. So do you stay away from it entirely? If you have a health thing going on, absolutely. Stay away from it. But if you don't have a health thing going on and it just makes you bloated or gassy or whatever, I kind of go like this. I try and stay on the 90-10 rule. Some people prefer 80-20 because it's a little bit more forgiving. So there's 365 days in a year. And if I'm on 90-10, that gives me 36.56 days out of the year to sort of have I'm at Lily and Bonnie's and we're having lasagna and wine and white bread, but I'm going to have it. And I know tomorrow maybe I'm not going to feel my best, but tomorrow's a day that I go right back to what I know I'm supposed to be doing. But I have found over time that I know what works best for my body. I teach my clients to do that too. And in that way, it has allowed me to throw away all of that stuff and not go looking anymore because I've already found the answer. I've already found from my source what's best for my body. And I allowed myself to stay there and to stop redeciding over and over again what's best. Just decide once by doing a 30-day clean eating challenge, and then you know what's best for your body. And then you're done with that. You can move on to another thing you have to decide about, like how to convince your husband to get on board.
Wow. Thank you, Valerie. I love everything that you're saying. And what I would like to add for our audience is use the services of a coach or a mentor like Valerie. You know, there is such an amazing level of value to utilizing a coach or a mentor. Bonnie and I are huge proponents of coaching and mentoring. That doesn't mean you have to use a coach or a mentor for a long time. It could be for 3 months, 6 months, whatever it takes for you to be able to get into the habits that are good for you, because an expert, someone that's outside of your own life, can help you see things that you may not be seeing on your own. So everything that you're saying, Valerie, thank you. I think that Bonnie and I could probably talk to you for another couple of hours, and I'm jealous that Bonnie has had all this access to you for all these years. So I am absolutely delighted to be able to hear your tips, and I want to encourage everyone to go to Valerie's Facebook page. Your website is going to be up really soon, Valerie. I can't wait to be able to see that. But I'm sure by all of you looking and accessing Valerie's Facebook page, you'll be able to have access to her and the tremendous amount of information that she's sharing with all of us. So, oh my gosh, we're out of time, Valerie, but thank you so much for joining us today.
And I always say, live and be well, my friends. Enjoy your afternoon, and thanks again for encouraging me to be on this group and sharing the space with me.
Oh, thank you. And so Bonnie and I want to thank all of you for joining us today for the Enlightened Humanity Spiritual Rave. We are your access to resources and information so that you can access your innate wisdom. Thank you so much for joining us today. Until next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.